Welcome to this lesson on Requests for Evidence, or RFEs, issued by USCIS. If you received an RFE or are helping a client with one, don't panic. This is common and manageable. In this video, I will walk you through what an RFE is, why they're issued, how to respond, and best practices for success. Let's get started. Let's see what an RFE is. An RFE is a formal request from USCIS asking for additional information or documentation before they can make a decision on an immigration application or petition. It's not a denial, and it's not necessarily a bad sign. It simply means the officer needs more evidence to continue processing the case. Let's go over an example. Say you filed a spouse petition, but only included the marriage certificate and forgot to include evidence of a bona fide marriage, like photos or joint bank statements. USCIS might issue an RFE asking for those documents. Later on in this lesson, I'll show you how to respond to an RFE effectively. Now let's explore why USCIS issues RFEs during the immigration process. USCIS may issue an RFE for several reasons, including missing initial evidence such as birth or marriage certificates, incomplete or outdated forms, or inconsistent information between documents. They may also request additional proof if the evidence provided is insufficient to meet eligibility requirements, if certified translations were not submitted when needed, or if the application is poorly organized or unclear. For example, it may happen that in the case of a work permit application, you submit Form I-765, but you select a category that doesn't match your client's current status. USCIS will likely issue an RFE to clarify the eligibility basis. It's important to understand the structure of an RFE. Typically, an RFE includes a summary of the application, followed by the legal basis for the request. Next, it lists specific items that are missing or deemed insufficient. Additionally, the RFE sets a deadline for response, which is usually 87 days from the notice date. Finally, it provides clear instructions on how to submit the response. It's crucial to keep in mind that you only get one chance to respond, and extensions are not allowed. Let's cover how to effectively respond to an RFE. Start by reading the RFE thoroughly. Break it down point by point and make sure you fully understand what is being asked. Then gather strong, relevant evidence and avoid including excessive or unrelated documents. Next, organize your response carefully by including a cover letter that references the RFE date and receipt number, and consider using tabs or exhibit numbers and a table of contents for clarity. It is important to answer each point in the order listed in the RFE. Finally, to submit the response to an RFE, you should first ensure it is sent to the exact address listed in the RFE notice. It's essential to include a copy of the RFE itself on top of your response package, as this helps USCIS identify and process your submission more efficiently. Moreover, it is strongly recommended to use a trackable mailing service, as this provides proof that the response was sent before the deadline, which can be crucial if there are any delays or issues. In some cases, the RFE response may also be uploaded directly to the client's USCIS online account, so it's important to check whether that option is available for your case. Let's see some important tips and tricks to help you handle an RFE effectively. First, always keep a full copy of both the RFE and your response for your records, as you may need to reference them later. Second, never ignore an RFE. Failing to respond will result in an automatic denial of the application. Third, if you already submitted the requested evidence earlier in the process, make sure to mention that clearly in your response and include a copy again, since USCIS may have missed or misplaced it. Finally, if official documents are not available, it's acceptable to submit affidavits instead. Just be sure to explain why the original documents cannot be provided and include any alternate supporting evidence to strengthen your case. Let's see a case example. Imagine a client who has applied for VAWA and receives an RFE asking for proof of cohabitation and proof of good moral character. To address the cohabitation requirement, you could include lease agreements, utility bills, or affidavits from friends or neighbors who can confirm that the applicant lived with the abuser. For good moral character, you should provide a police clearance letter and, if possible, letters from community members or organizations highlighting the client's positive contributions. As a bonus tip, always include a cover letter at the beginning of your packet that clearly explains how each piece of evidence addresses the points listed in the RFE. This helps USCIS officers quickly understand and process your response. As we close out this lesson, here are a few final reminders about responding to RFEs. First and foremost, remember that RFEs are a normal part of the immigration process, so there's no need to panic if you receive one. What matters is responding clearly, completely, and within the deadline. Be sure to organize your materials in a way that makes it easy for the USCIS officer to understand and review your response. With preparation and attention to detail, you can handle RFEs with confidence. That wraps up the lesson on RFEs. Thank you for watching.